Carnivore Revolution. I'm Serena.
I'm Jess. Like and subscribe below. Today we are making Lady Carnivore's Carnivore Enchiladas. So I'm really excited. We have everything right here. So far, we've made our chuck roast and shredded it.
We are going to put the chuck roast along with our broth on the stove and let it simmer until the broth is about halfway reduced. So you can find this recipe on her blog. And here's what it has in it real quick, just so we can tell you. So it's a 2-pound chuck roast with a couple of tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and it is cooked in a crock pot or an instant pot, whichever you have. And then you're going to use 1 cup of beef broth with 1 cup of cream cheese, half a cup of sour cream, 1 cup of cheese shredded, and 1/4 cup of cheese shredded, and that's what's going to go on top before you bake it. Jess is a little bit more prepared than I am. I mean, I have everything, but
I'm the Vanna White today.
That's exactly right. Okay, so as the instructions say, we are going to use some beef broth or bone broth with it, along with the drippings, and we are going to put the shredded meat down in a pot and put that on the stove with the broth in it. So we'll do that, and then we're going to make the tortillas while this simmers. So here's I'm using some homemade bone broth. Mine's fairly old. Jess made hers last night.
Yeah, so I made bone broth and then cooked my meat in the bone broth. So then now I'm putting it back in the bone broth.
It's going to have so much flavor though. Well, it is time to make the tortillas. And on her website, she actually has the link within this recipe to her tortillas. Now, I have never made the tortillas like this. I have done like the egg white tortillas, like the PSFM, the whipped egg whites. I have done that and used that like as a flatbread or something, but I've never made this recipe in particular. And I'm pretty excited about it because I see a lot of people post recipes like this, like people will post like the meat bread recipes and they'll use like ground turkey or ground chicken and blend it up. And so that's what this recipe is. This is her recipe for a tortilla, and it calls for 8 ounces of chicken, and that chicken has to be raw, which sounds really gross because we're going to blend it up. So it's 8 ounces of raw chicken, and then 4 egg whites, 2 whole eggs, 1/4 cup of water, and then you're going to just salt it to taste. I'll pull my blender out, and you're using
my NutriBullet. Yeah, I didn't know that it had to be raw, so I started cooking some, and then I found out it had to be raw. So thankfully, I had some more raw chicken. Mine's a little over. It's 9.7.
Like I said, I wanted extra, so I'm actually going to add a little bit more chicken to mine. And of course, that means I have to add some more eggs too. So I'm actually going to save my yolks so that I can use them tomorrow to make some egg yolk muffins. Have you ever made egg yolk muffins?
No.
They're really good. You just use the egg yolks. You can add a little bit of cream of tartar and some baking soda, and it puffs up just like a bread. It actually looks a lot like cornbread. It does taste like eggs, but it's very, very good.
I'm so excited about this. Ever since I heard this recipe, I wanted to try it because Mexican food was my favorite before carnivore.
Me too. I definitely have a problem with dips and salsa at a Mexican restaurant. It's been quite some time since I've done that. But it's definitely one of my favorites also. And one of the things it's funny, I've been excited all day about this, but it's really funny because one of the things that I love so much about the carnivore diet is there's such little food prep involved. Like I used to spend an hour and a half or something, making dinner so we could be done in about 10 minutes and, then have all that cleanup to do after you do all of that food prep. And so one of the things that I love about the carnivore diet is I don't have to do that anymore. But yet at the same time, I was super excited about making this recipe tonight.
Like when you do it all the time, it's kind of a drag, but then when you haven't cooked in a while, you kind of get excited to do a recipe.
And I think I probably haven't done any kind of food prep since Easter when I made Kelly Hogan's meat and cheese casserole. And even that wasn't really a lot of food prepping. It was just one pot, with all the stuff in it. So it was really easy to make, but that's probably the last time I had any kind of food prep, because with carnivore, you just get the meat out of the fridge, you take it to the grill or the stove or the oven.
Yeah, that's how I am. I don't do any sort of prep. I don't even thaw the meat most of the time. We just put it frozen in the air fryer.
Yeah, us too. So I'm gonna put some salt in mine. I actually doubled my recipe. I've never blended raw chicken before. Have you?
Oh, how much water? I might not have enough room for the water.
I bet you could go ahead and do that and then pour it in something else and add the water and just mix it up really well. Don't you think?
Okay. Yes, I'll do that. Ready?
My mixer is not incredibly happy with me. The recipe says you're supposed to be able to pour it. I'm having a little bit of a hard time with the texture.
Mine isn't like extremely liquidy. Does it have to be like full liquid? Because mine's kind of chunky.
Yeah, I think mine is too. Okay, can you see mine?
Ooh, yeah.
Can you see? It's like, oh, yours is a little thinner than mine.
Uh-oh, my NutriBullet stopped working.
Maybe you could just stir it.
Mine didn't get blended all the way. Look at my chicken.
Oh no.
I think I'll just pull them out. Man, mine's not thickening up like yours. So I don't think you can do this with a NutriBullet or a Magic Bullet.
Well, but really I wonder if mine's too thick. The recipe instructions say to pour it in the pan. Mine is probably not exactly going to pour.
Mine is like way liquidy, like it's going to just evaporate in the pan. Uh-oh. I don't know, because
mine looks worse than mine.
This is like most of the chicken still.
You want to try to put it in, the big chunks back in with just a little bit of water and see if it'll grind it up more or no?
Well, I think I have to wait a little because it won't even turn on anymore like that.
Oh yeah, it overheated.
So if you have a Magic Bullet, you have to chop up the chicken really fine or it won't blend it all together.
Okay.
I'm making such a huge mess.
My Vitamix, like the little thing in the top so I could look down in there, and a big air bubble came up and I got like chicken puree all over me.
We need aprons.
We do. You having to wipe the floor with a towel?
There's chicken all over the floor right now. There's raw chicken splashed everywhere. Good thing I'm not afraid of salmonella, but if I was.
Okay, you ready to start the tortillas?
I think so. Here, watch, I'll pour it. You can see if it's like, you think it's thick enough.
Aside from the little glops, I think it's fine. I don't know, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yep. So I think my meat is done. It has been cooking in its own juices here this whole time. Most of the juices are gone now. It's evaporated and smells really good. I'll put some butter in my pan.
Okay, so I'll turn my camera so you can see.
So I put some butter in my pan. Let's see what happens. Here goes nothing.
Let's see.
Oh my goodness, the texture is just so weird. It's totally gonna be worth it. It's like pudding.
Instead of enchiladas, you're gonna have like pancakes.
It's definitely runnier than mine.
Breadier?
Runnier. More liquidy.
Oh, is that the term for it?
Runnier, is it?
Oh, I don't know. I'm a horrible cook.
I think so. Like mine is a little bit runny and yours is runnier. I think so.
And when you do it right, it's readiest.
Are you still mopping up chicken with a towel on the floor?
I think mine is more like a crepe consistency.
My pan's really kind of small for these to be enchilada.
How big are enchilada tortillas normally?
I would think they're the larger tortillas, but I don't really know, I guess. It's been so long.
I
don't remember.
Me neither.
As long as we can roll the mixture up in it. So the instructions say to mix up the sour cream, cream cheese, and cheese and put that in the enchilada and then add the beef to it. I'm considering going ahead and mixing the cheese, cream cheese, and sour cream in with the beef rather than layering it in the enchilada. I figure we need to get about 8 of them done in order to have a whole pan of enchiladas, don't you think?
Okay. This might take me a while.
It's starting to stick. It doesn't feel not like a tortilla. I thought the oopsie cake was an involved recipe.
It's not sticking, but like when I try to pick it up, it just like falls apart. I probably won't flip them. I'll probably just cook them on one side till it's
all the
done.
way through.
Yeah. So this is definitely a recipe where you need like the full-on gadgets to do it. You can't really cheat your way through this one.
Struggling a little bit, but the texture is actually really, really good.
Okay, yeah, mine's not working at all.
Is it stuck?
Yeah, it's full on stuck now.
The texture is actually really good. I don't think it would work like for a cold sandwich or something like that. But for something like this, I can totally see how it will work.
Yeah.
I have way too much chicken batter. I can say that for certain.
Yeah, this is a lot. This is like to feed a whole family, this recipe, I think.
I wish I had realized that because I've already made 4 and look how much I have left.
Yeah, I have a lot left too. I wonder if you could like bake it.
Oh, maybe. That's actually a really good idea. Pour it on a baking sheet and bake it and then cut it.
Oh yeah, and make it
and roll
like,
it up
kind
still.
of make tortillas like that.
Do you have a baking sheet you can use with like parchment paper on it?
I don't have parchment paper.
Do you have a non-stick pan?
I have this. It's like really old and stuff, but I could put butter in it. All of my cooking stuff is like falling apart because it's all really old.
Okay, so change of plans, having some issues with pans and sticking. And so just be aware of that unless you have a really, really good, fairly new non-stick pan that still has all of the finish on it. It is a little bit difficult to get these not to stick to the pan. So we're gonna try option B, which is not even on the recipe, it's our option B. And we're gonna put these in the oven, which should be a little bit faster. And then they will be kind of squares. We'll go ahead and cut them afterwards. They'll be squares and we'll roll them up and you'll never know the difference. This actually works out great because I've actually been trying to figure out an alternative for lasagna. And so I've been wanting to make a lasagna and I wasn't sure what I was going to use as a noodles, and this will be great. I will cut the extra that I have here into squares, and then I will be ready to make a carnivore lasagna at some point soon.
That sounds delicious.
So that's okay. This is real life. Everything doesn't always work out. Neither one of us have ever made this recipe before. So it is what it is.
Yep. So yeah, we preheated it at 400. And how long do you think we should cook them for?
I'm not sure. Maybe we could just put it in and then keep checking it.
Okay.
While this is cooking, we can go ahead and mix up the meat with the cheeses.
Yes.
Does that sound good? Okay. Okay. I have enough to do 2 pans.
I didn't quite have enough because I don't think it blended it well enough. So the magic bullet definitely does not suffice for this recipe.
You see her?
Yeah.
What are you asking for? Chicken? You want some chicken?
What a good girl.
Such a good girl. Jess thinks you're a good girl too. This might even be a more efficient way to do it.
And then we are also going to put the cheese, like you said, just directly in with the meat instead of doing it separately. So we're gonna tweak that also. Piper likes them.
She does. I'm gonna turn my burner back on. So just so you know, I put all of my stuff on a plate. It's a cup of cream cheese, which is a brick of cream cheese. That's 8 ounces. So I'm gonna use the whole thing. And then it's half a cup of sour cream, which I have put on a plate here with the cheese. This is the cheese that I'm reserving to go on top. And this is the cheese I'm gonna mix in. So it's half a cup of sour cream, 1 cup of shredded cheese, and then the 1 cup of cream cheese. Put the cream cheese in first so it can melt. Piper's just not gonna give up. How long are you gonna sit there?
The ears. Can you remind me how much sour cream again?
I certainly can. It is half a cup of sour cream.
Okay. 8 ounces. Is 8 ounces half a cup?
No, 4 ounces is half a cup.
8 ounces is a cup?
Yeah.
I thought 16 ounces was a cup.
No, 16 ounces is a pound in weighted measure.
I always mix up measurements. Oh my goodness. So, when we were measuring the chicken, I did 16 ounces plus 8 ounces to do. I did too much chicken.
No, that's 16 ounces a pound, you were weighing it. So that's like a dry measurement. So 16 ounces is a pound, but 16 ounces of liquid, which is a pint of liquid, is 2 cups.
Okay.
I homeschool, so that's how I know.
Oh my gosh. I went to private school my whole life, but I didn't learn about that, obviously.
That's a real life math. You're welcome.
Life math. Well, shoot, I just added this whole thing and we just had the discussion that I just needed half of it. There's still
super creamy. Would it make you feel better if I added more?
No, it's fine. I still have a little bit in here. Oops. Yeah, this is a real life kitchen. This is exactly how I would have really made it if I was making it on my own.
Except you wouldn't have me to ask.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like so bad. I'm notorious at not reading directions properly and then just kind of trying to wing my way through it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I live my life. So I get it. No, Piper, this is for me. They're coming along. Look how creamy and yummy. That's gonna be good. Piper thinks so too. What a good girl you are. Okay, so mine's all melted and gooey.
Mine too.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, that's good.
That is wonderful. See, now I just want to eat the whole pan just like it is. Somebody's gonna have to come take my fork away.
My tortillas are not gonna be big enough. I didn't have enough batter for all this meat, but I'll figure out. I think that would be really good to mix in with eggs, like machaca. Have you ever had machaca?
No, I've never had that, but I was thinking it would be good mixed in with eggs. Yeah,
that was my favorite Mexican dish that I would eat before I went carnivore. I guess it still is kind of carnivore, but sometimes they put peppers and stuff in it, which isn't a huge deal. But yeah, it's just like shredded beef and eggs mixed together. So I might have some machaca later.
Yeah, and shredded beef isn't something that I make very often. I do shredded chicken sometimes to put like buffalo sauce on. If I feel like having that, I try not to do it very often because I do think that it upsets my stomach a little bit. But shredded beef isn't something that I make like to use for anything. I just use like ground beef for stuff. So this is a really nice change of texture and stuff, you know?
Yeah, and it was really easy. The shredded beef was really easy to make.
Yeah, it was super easy. And I don't usually buy, you know, a chuck roast like that unless we're having, you know, like a beef roast, I'll buy one. But I can totally see keeping something like this in the refrigerator, even just to have a snack kind of like it is just for a treat, since I try not to use too much cheese, because this is really, really good.
Yeah.
So far, I love the recipe. You know, the tortillas didn't work out exactly the way we had planned, but we're making it work. And I think it'll be delicious.
Me too. I'm excited.
I think mine are getting there. How's yours doing?
Mine looks good. It's starting to bubble. I'm just worried about it sticking because it's stuck to the cast iron. So I put butter in the pan though. So hopefully.
Okay. And it is a nonstick pan. It's just scratched up a little bit, right?
It's just old. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Did you have to bring all of that with you? How does that work?
So if you're moving within the states or within like to Alaska or some like somewhere where you could drive, you have the option of either packing it yourself and taking it yourself, or you can have them ship it for you. And if you go out of the country, then obviously you have to have them ship it for you. So what they do is they just come to your house and you don't touch anything, you don't change anything. It's just like your normal house, and the packers come in and they do everything, and they load it into like a crate and then ship it off to wherever you're going, and then they come and they unpack everything. Yeah, it's really easy, it's really convenient. they don't put everything away when they come, but they'll unpack it off the truck and take all of the wrapping and everything. And then you just basically put stuff in shelves and everything.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. That is very cool that they do that and you don't have to worry about any of it.
Yeah, because I mean it's helpful for the mover, but it's also helpful for them because you can't touch anything. So like if you were packing it and something broke, then you don't really know whose fault it is. But since they're packing it, they have like the liability. So you can't touch anything, which I'm like, okay.
The cat is meowing so loudly because the girls and the dog went out onto the front porch to get away. So the cat is meowing like that because they are on the porch without her.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she can see them on the front porch and she's meowing like she wants to go out there.
I'm adding more cheese.
You are?
Yeah. I think I put too much meat in it because remember my meat was a little over.
Yeah.
So I'm adding more cheese. I'm going to melt it in.
I think one of mine might be done. I'm going to go ahead and take it out.
I think I'm going to leave mine in a little longer.
I'm going to cut mine into squares about the size of an enchilada. Rectangles, I guess. And then I think just down the middle. And it's good that I put the pan here to cover up the meat because I want more of the meat. I'm trying to eat it.
What's it taste like? Does it taste like chicken or?
Mm-hmm. It really doesn't have much of a flavor, but the texture is a lot different than I imagined that it would be. I mean, I don't know what I thought, but I think you can imagine this as kind of being a thick tortilla.
It's really thick. Is yours thick?
Yeah. It's, yeah, quarter of an inch maybe. You want to go ahead and roll some up?
Yeah. Make like a little taquito.
Yeah. So I got out a pan, a glass pan, and greased it. So mine's ready. Pan's probably too big, but it's okay. And it rolls really well. Oh yeah, that's wonderful. Perfect, look at it. Oh yeah, that looks great. That's perfect. So then we're supposed to roll them up and put them in a pan and sprinkle cheese on top and put them back in until the cheese melts.
Okay.
Is that the only pan you have?
Yeah. I'll get it out.
You're so funny. They roll up really well. I'm impressed. That one might have a little bit too much meat in it. Oh well. Where we're heard of too much meat, right?
Definitely not getting carnivores.
And now the recipe did say to use cumin, cayenne, and some garlic powder, and neither one of us did that.
Just salt.
And if you're making it and you're having company or something, or your family wants to, you could always put that on, you know, in the individual servings.
Yeah. I think I could garlic anymore. I always notice I get like a stomach ache after I have something with garlic on it, even the smallest
Really?
amount of garlic. Yeah.
So the cheese goes on top. I might actually get a little bit more cheese out to put on top to kind of cover them up a little bit. I don't think I saved enough. Yeah, I definitely didn't save enough. I'd like them to have a little bit more cheese on them.
This last one broke, so I'm just gonna put this one like this and just have it half on top of it.
Okay, mine's ready to go in. How's yours?
I just have to add, I'm gonna put feta cheese on top. Can you put feta cheese in the oven and make it crispy?
Okay, you can. Yep.
And the recipe says for 400 because my oven's still at 400.
Yes. Okay, so they're all rolled up and ready to go in the oven. Are yours done?
Yes.
Lovely. It looks just like enchiladas, doesn't it? Okay, we'll put those in, and we're basically just waiting for the cheese to melt, so it shouldn't take long. And don't forget about your second pan of wraps when you go in the other room to restart the Zoom call like I did.
Oh, those are crispy.
It'll still be good. The edges are just a little bit crispy, but the rest of it's fine. Okay, so that should really only take a few minutes for it to re-warm and for the cheese to melt.
Yeah, you could even broil it, like make the cheese all crispy.
I bet you could. Yeah, my cheese is already melting. Okay, so we're both just about ready to pull ours out of the oven. And so it turns out this video was really inspired by the original recipe by Lady Carnivore, but we made some tweaks. We made a little bit of changes that we felt like worked better for us, like baking the chicken wraps. And now that we have done that, I definitely think that next time I make it, even though I have a nonstick pan and that was working fine, I think it was a lot quicker to get all of those wraps done at once in the oven. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And then I think next time I'm going to try ground turkey instead of chicken.
Yeah, I think it's pretty versatile. I think you could do several different kinds of meats and it would still be really good. The chicken really wrapped up really well, though the texture was really perfect. It was very much like kind of a thick tortilla to make this with. So I feel like that was really good. I liked baking it in the oven. It's less of a mess, less pots and pans to clean up if you have parchment paper like I did, or you used the nonstick pan, it came out pretty easily. So I think that might be the way to go as far as the wraps themselves go. It doesn't matter that they're square instead of round. It still works exactly the same. And then the recipe does call for it to cook at the end there for 25 to 30 minutes, which since everything was already cooked, I don't really think that's necessary. I think it really just needs to be done cooked until the cheese is melted on top. And I think ours are probably just about done.
Mm-hmm. Are yours done?
What do you think? Yeah, I think so. Are yours?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yay. Oh my goodness. Wow. That looks so good.
Yeah,
the
it
cheese
actually
is
does
bubbly.
look
Ooh, look at that. You can probably hear them bubbling. They look like an enchilada. I'm super excited about this. So it is almost 10:30 in the morning for you and almost 9:30 at night for me.
Yes.
Monday morning for you, and it's Sunday evening for me. So I'm about to have a bedtime snack, and you're about to have breakfast. Or second breakfast? Breakfast. Okay. I'm going to get the biggest one because I think everybody wants to try it. Look at that. Oh my goodness. That is wonderful. Looks just like an enchilada. So excited. They look wonderful, don't they?
Yeah, this actually looks really good. I like how the edges are crispy.
Yeah, I do too. So, I mean, you could leave it in longer, but I'm dying to try it.
Me too.
You can hear my cat crying. It's because everybody else went outside without her. She's so loud. Okay, are you ready to try it?
Yeah.
I don't usually eat this late. I'm making an exception.
Mm. That's really good.
Yeah. JC, very good recipe. JC did good, didn't she?
Yeah. And it's still good even with all the tweaks and stuff we made. So I can't imagine if it was like flawlessly made, how good these would be, because this is still really good.
So I can totally see how for somebody who uses all of the spices, like all the Mexican spices, how this would even be that much better.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
That was delicious.
Definitely one of those recipes that if you're a carnivore, you could still make for your family and add that extra seasoning in it, and they would probably really enjoy it.
Yeah, I completely agree. This recipe is definitely a keeper. So I think that about wraps it up for us.
Join us next time. We're going to be making Reed's recipe of biscuits and gravy, carnivore biscuits and gravy. So can't wait to see you guys back here.
Yeah, that sounds super good. So thank you so much for joining us. If you liked our video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time here on the Carnivore Revolution.